Hey everyone, this is Jason with Divine Frustrations, and I want to talk to you briefly today about the frustrations that people have been having over Trump's reelection. Of course, we found out last month that he was going to get another chance at being the president, and as we all know, there are a lot of people who are unhappy with that outcome. So, I want to talk to those people in particular because that's where a lot of the frustrations lie. So I want to address it from a couple of different angles, not so much focusing on the politics and policies, but just thinking about some of the perspectives that can help ease some of the frustrations that you or someone you know may have about this particular outcome. So the first thing I want to highlight is that when we see incoming President Trump as a person and not as someone who's going to be the leader of the nation, think about it from a human standpoint, considering the fact that he did just this year alone survive two assassination attempts. Now, yes, there are a number of different issues pertaining to that, but sometimes when a person encounters something that's significant, when a person is confronted with their own mortality, it helps them to get a new lease on life. And sometimes that may lead them to take some things more seriously. And who knows, maybe as a result of those experiences, President Trump is going to approach things in a way that maybe he would not have had he not had those experiences. So there is the consideration that for whatever reason, his life was spared and he won the election. So it could be argued that maybe that's an indicator that this was supposed to happen in this particular way at this time. And if that's the case, then maybe that means there is some significant purpose for it. So let's keep that in mind as we think about how things are going to begin to unfold next month. There's also the realization that for Christians, that New Testament passage where it talks about praying for those in authority, praying for leaders. And one of the reasons for that, yes, the passage goes on to say so that we could live a quiet and peaceable life. But there is also the reality that when you have those kinds of burdens, you have national concerns, you have international issues, it takes a great deal of courage to live with that kind of pressure on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter who the president is, that is a tough job to have. Now, granted, it's not something that is forced upon anyone. A person decides to run for office and they pursue that. But if they win, when they win and they take that oath, they are living a different life. They are living a high pressured life. Everyone is watching what they're doing. So, from the Christian view, the passage to pray for them is not just praying so that things will go well with people, it's praying because of that individual and the pressure that they're living under and all of the concerns that they perhaps go to bed with each night. So, for the Christians who may be frustrated with Trump's reelection, just remember that there is still that obligation that has been issued in the New Testament to pray for those in these kinds of positions because they need it. The third thing that I want to say about this is related to a conversation that I had just this past summer, actually, with a former student of mine who wanted to come and receive my perspective, my insights on some of the concerns that he had. He had taken a critical thinking class with me, and one of the topics that we explored was politics. And so he had some concerns about which direction he would go with the election. And I shared some of my thoughts, but I concluded by telling him that one thing that can help us when we think about the election and whatever the outcome is to just remind ourselves that whoever gets elected, we can give them the benefit of the doubt, knowing that they want good for this country. Now, yes, there are people who have different views and understandings of what they believe to be good, but we can at least assume the best, that someone who is pursuing this role, it's not because they're on a power trip. It's not because they're trying to dominate. It's because they want to affect good. And so, one of the things that can help those who are frustrated with this outcome is to realize that whatever policies and whatever laws may change, there is still that belief that Trump and those who are going to be a part of his cabinet, they believe in what is good, what is right for this particular country. And so we can at least embrace a mindset that even if we have problems with their judgment, their motives are right in terms of what they're trying to do, meaning that what they're trying to implement for the good and well being of this country, at least for the most part. And so those are some of the considerations that I think can help those who are dealing with the frustrations of this election. They're concerned about what's going to begin to happen next month and forward. And I would just say that if we can remember to keep in mind that number one, people do change for the better. And so we can hope that Trump is one of those people. And considering the fact that his life was almost taken from us, just months ago, maybe he is determined to actually do an even better job now that he's gotten a second chance. On top of that, people will be praying for him and his administration. And then thirdly, just thinking about giving people the benefit of the doubt that we all want what is good and right for this country. And when you're in that position and you're able to implement certain things towards that end, then they can at least receive credit for that, doing what they believe is right. So time will tell what the next administration will be like, what it will mean for the country, what it will mean for the world. But in the meantime, let's hope for the best and let's ultimately see how things will unfold and just trust that things will work out for the good.